The wizarding world of Harry Potter is full of enchantments, charms, curses, hexes, and jinxes. But of the wide array of spells we encounter throughout the series, which one is the hardest to cast? Today, I figure it out. Hey everyone! We all know that spells come in many different forms in Harry Potter, and one of the distinguishing factors is color. The classic example of this is the red of Expelliarmus and the green of Avada Kedavra, the two spells that Harry and Voldemort use to duel each other. But have you ever wondered what these colors actually represent? I mean, sure, red is loosely associated with bravery, and green is associated with evil throughout the series, mainly because of Gryffindor and Slytherin, but when you go beyond the symbolism, why do spells emit colored light in the first place? Well, we first have to separate the different kinds of spells in the wizarding world. Charms are spells that don't emit any colored light, because they simply add properties to an object or human, and jinxes and hexes usually don't either, because they're not strong enough forms of magic, although the boundary lines of dark charms are pretty loose. Examples of these are spells like the Patronus Charm, the Levitation Charm, or Wingardium Leviosa, and the Malefor's Jinx, which encases its victim's head in a pumpkin. Spells and curses, however, do emit colored light, and so these are the types of magic I'll be talking about today. Colors can represent a few different things in everyday life, but maybe the most prominent example is energy. If you remember 10th grade chemistry class at all, you might know that atoms contain particles called electrons. These electrons move up and down areas called energy levels when heat is added or taken away from the atom, and as a result, energy is given off in the form of light. The color of the light depends on how much energy is given off, and for this, we have to go back to 11th grade physics class and look at an equation. Energy equals frequency times Planck's constant, meaning that energy is directly proportional to frequency. Meaning, light with a greater frequency has a greater amount of energy, and if we look at the electromagnetic spectrum, we can see which colors have greater frequencies, aka more energy. But before this becomes too science-y, let's go back to Harry Potter wand magic, because this energetic process could be close to what's happening when a spell or curse is cast. This would make sense, as the colors can't have anything to do with the witch or wizard who's conjuring the magic, as the same color appears each time for any particular spell. It would also make perfect sense that different spells and curses require different amounts of energy, and that some are therefore harder to cast than others. To figure out the hardest spells to cast, aka the ones that need the most energy, all we have to do is pinpoint the color with the highest frequency. The electromagnetic spectrum tells us that it's violet, and that the color with the lowest frequency is red. So the question becomes, do we ever see a violet or purple spell being cast throughout the Harry Potter series? Because it's surprisingly hard to find spells that aren't red, green, blue, or gold/yellow, and there aren't any prominent examples of spells or curses with a violet aura, except for one example we get during the Department of Mysteries battle in Order of the Phoenix. But the Death Eater Hermione had just struck dumb made a sudden slashing movement with his wand, from which flew a streak of what looked like purple flame. It's the only time in the whole series we witness a spell with violet light, and it was cast by Death Eater Antonin Dolohov on Hermione. Dolohov cast the curse silently, and so we don't know the specifics of what it actually does, but we do know that it knocked Hermione unconscious, and that she experienced soreness afterwards. The Harry Potter wiki even describes it as a spell that causes major internal injuries, and if cast with enough power, can be deadly. So despite all the complex magic we see Dumbledore, Voldemort, and Grindelwald, three of the most powerful wizards of all time, use throughout the series, it's Dolohov who performs the hardest spell or curse, while fighting in the Department of Mysteries. Notice how J.K. Rowling specifically points out that the curse is purple, almost implying that it's special in some way. Of course, this is probably not the hardest spell or curse in existence, as there could be others with a similar tinge, or even more violet. And if we look at the other end of the spectrum, we see that spells or curses that are red are the easiest to cast, which is why we see so many of them. But I just think the concept of color indicating how much energy goes into each spell, and therefore how advanced it is pretty cool and interesting. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future Harry Potter content. Hit the bell to make sure you get notified when I upload. Thanks for watching, see you later.